Ian Williams. Ian is Chief Executive of Charteris.
Yes, and he also manages the City Financial Strategic Guild, best performing fund for British government bonds since its launch in 2006. So, Ian, first of all, let me ask you, as we saw there, neither party holding a solid lead in the polls, how would a hung parliament affect the financial markets if there was no overall majority?
Well, they'd have to learn to live with it, as they'd have to learn to live with whatever result is. I suspect that a hung parliament might actually be preferable to another 5 years of Gordon Brown.
Really?
Personally.
You don't think there would be panic?
Well, you might get panic if you've got another 5 years of Gordon Brown, actually. So,
Yeah, but Ian, let's go to the likelihood of a hung parliament itself.
Okay.
And what are you penciling in at the moment with regard to that? Spread bettors normally get this right.
well, the spread bettors are saying something completely different to the opinion polls. I mean, the spread bettors have got Tories on about 332 seats. They've got Labour on 232 seats, and the Liberals on about 55 seats, which is basically giving the Conservative Party a clear 100-seat majority over Labour. Now, when we've had these spread betting before previous elections, the spread betting is a lot more accurate than the opinion polls because it's real money that's being traded on these, and quite a lot of money as well. The only thing I'd say about the spread betting is we still haven't had the date of the election announced. I mean, everyone assumes it's going to be on May the 6th. And really the time to really focus on what the spread bettors are saying is probably a week or two before polling day. So it might be a little bit early, but the spread betting is a quite sharp variance to what the opinion polls are saying.
Okay, economy's got to be key when it comes to general election, naturally, yeah. Ian, and it looks like things could get a whole lot worse for any incoming government, be it a change or the same government, if Moody's slashes or lowers its AAA credit rating for the UK.
Well, I would have thought, I mean, if I ran an rating agency, I think I'd be inclined to wait until the election's out of the way and see what government comes in and see what measures they take to cut the deficit and to see how quickly they intend to implement those cuts.
Well, with that in mind and what you've heard from the various parties, how do you assess the general willingness to raise taxes, reduce spending?
I think within the Conservative Party there's a quite severe awareness of the need to cut the deficit quite sharply. The Liberals and the Labour Party are both going around saying that if they got in, maybe they'd defer the cuts for a year because the economy isn't strong enough. The only problem, I went to see a speech by Vince Cable a couple of weeks ago, and someone asked him, what's the difference between you and the Conservative Party if you're both going to cut the deficit? And he said, oh, well, they want to cut it straight away, we're going to wait a year. And then someone said, well, what happens if by waiting a year you trigger off a financial crisis? Oh, well, then in which case we'd bring forward the cut straight away. So in reality, there's probably not as much difference between the parties as they like to make out.
All to play for then, Ian. Thanks a lot for that.